University of Civils IAS Academy. We are the best IAS Academy in Visakhapatnam, and today here with the topic called India win the diplomacy war. Let's look into the deep what has happened with the India and the Canadian government and how it affected the international relations. And this topic is mostly useful in GS paper 2 international relations. So let's go by topic so that you'll understand at the end. So, and this is going to be very helpful video for the GS paper 2, and those who are preparing for the civil services, it will be mostly useful. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of Bharat, and Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada. Let's get into the point. The history of Canada and India relation. Both these countries have been ruled by the British government itself. So in 1858, the Queen has proclaimed the people of India and stated very clearly that you would enjoy the same kind of a status what you are enjoying in India, the same kind of a status that can be enjoyed in Canada too. So some of the British Indian Army people thought that they will have a new life and once they get migrated over there. So those people from British Indian Army has left India and got settled down into Canada to start with a new life. But as they are white people and these are a brown color people, due to which the racism and discrimination was very pretty common. And later years come into picture. The government, like the British government left India. At the same time, Canada also been given independence by the British itself. So both these now are independent countries. So Canada, we have got the constitutional ideals like the federal structure. We both share the common federal structure, and the appointment of governor by the center is also a concept that we brought it from the Canadian constitution itself. This particular topic is going to be useful in GS paper 2, the comparison of the Indian constitution with the other constitutional. So let's look into face by face so that you will understand exactly what is the relation between the Canada and India. In 20th century, if you look at from 1940 to 60s, it is not the diplomacy between the two countries, it's mostly between the two persons. Like the PM Nehru used to have a cordial relation with the Canadian Prime Minister Saint Laurent. At the same time, the Canadian Prime Minister Pearson too. So they used to maintain a very good relation at particular issues, and they used to have a very good relation, cordial relation. Due to that cordial relation, later this relation has gone up to the next level from the Colombo Plan. What is this Colombo Plan is altogether? Colombo Plan is an intergovernmental organization started in the year 1951. Over here in Colombo Plan, all the finance ministers will come and talk on the issues related to their development and prosperity of that particular country. So the members of this particular Colombo Plan are UK, Canada, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, New Zealand, and India. All these countries' finance ministers used to be there at Colombo and had discussion related to these things. Over this particular Colombo Plan, India had a vigorous discussions with the Canada, which resulted Canada offerings to India. Canada has provided the food aid, and Canada has provided the project financing also, and at the same time they provided the technical assistance to India, whatever the India used to build in the first 5-year plan and second 5-year plan together. In the year 1950s itself, the first 5-year plan and second 5-year plan, we have a large recipient of Canadian bilateral aid, which is almost 3.8 billion Canadian dollars. So if the countries have sharing this much economy and everything, why did the relations got better? Let's look into that. Even the Kunda powerhouse, which is a powerhouse exactly located at Ooty, Tamil Nadu, even that project is also financed and funded. At the same time, the technical assistance of this project is also given by the Canada itself. But the relations have spoiled at the event called Smiling Buddha. What is Smiling Buddha? Smiling Buddha is a code name, or you can call Happy Krishna. It is also a code name for the Pokhran 1. Pokhran 1 is the first nuclear bomb test which happened at Rajasthan. So Canada, they have supplied the nuclear material to India, though we are not a member of NPT or CTBT. So at particular point of time, the one country which has signed NPT and CTBT, only those countries have to get the nuclear material. But though we didn't sign it, though we have a good relation with Canada, resulted to get the nuclear material from the Canada. But by taking that nuclear material for the Cyrus nuclear research reactor, we have created a bomb and we tried to explode it, and that explosion was very good in number and resulted that India being a nuclear power. and the relation later became very bitter in 80s and 90s also, due to the events which have happened over the time. But in 2018 again, the Manmohan Singh government came into picture. The government has called up the Canada government also and got into an agreement to transfer for 3000 metric ton of nuclear material under 5 years contract. The relation after Smiling Buddha became so weak due to the movement of Khalistan itself. The Khalistan movement has created so much of rupture between India and Canada relation. Let's look into Khalistan movement. What is it altogether? Khalistan movement. If you wanted to know about the Khalistan movement, you have to get back to the concept called Quit India movement. Over in Quit India movement, the chains of communication were completely broken, the leaders were kept in jail, and the masses have came into the roads. There is no leader to tell what to do in the movement, so the masses became so much violent, and murders could not able to control them, created so much of rupture, and Quit India movement became violent. So this was the first movement in India, became the first leaderless movement, and it is also called as an August Resolution. Over in Quit India movement, most of the people felt that India will get independence in 1942 itself, and due to which some people have developed some kind of a complex situations, and they have created a parallel government in their areas. Example, in Satara, Maharashtra, a person called Nana Patel, he used to run his own government called Prati Sarkar. It is a parallel government at that time, and it is the world's largest running and most effective parallel government even. And in Mindapur in West Bengal, it is also famous for one more event, that the indigo farmers used to came down to the collector office and cut their fingers. So it is also famous for Mindapur. And the same place, Jatiya Sarkar also formed, and he himself stated that I am the prime minister for that Mindapur, and he took over the power from the collector office also, and he created his own cabinet, and he created imposing taxes and collecting taxes also from the people, and he even went further and established the courts also, and continue remain into that area for long years, and it is also called as the second largest parallel government. The reason being it is that it is the remote part in India, due to which people did not concentrate on that particular, but in 1947 this was closed. In the same kind of a thing, the people now used to come in 1942, they used to come for their own self-governing state. So resulted the same movement called Sikh state. The land of Khalsa can be called in Punjab region. But according to the Khalistan people, the Khalistan supporter people, they used to say Pak Punjab, Indian Punjab, Haryana and Himachal Pradesh all together turned into one single state, that is called Sikh state, and we wanted to have our autonomy and we will stay. And they have decided themselves also that Shimla and Lahore are the proposed capitals. So the Khalistan has born in 1940, the leaderless movement in Quit India movement, and a pamphlet is also released at that particular point. The prominent leader in Khalistan movement is Jagjit Singh Chauhan. He was a very prominent leader, and he is a Punjabi, and he left Punjabi and went into UK and settled over there, and he became a prominent person, and he used to give fund money and everything. So the first president of this movement and had a talk with the Pakistan in Zulfikar Ali Bhutto during the Indo-Pak war. He may felt that India would have lost the war in 1971 and Pakistan won the war, and Pakistan will help us to create a Khalistan. Even Pakistan Prime Minister, the Bhutto, also promised that we will definitely help you out. But at the end, the story was completely different. India won the war, Pakistan lost the war, and he has no choice left over. Due to which, again with the advice of the Pakistan, these people went a little bit more and stated that the radical and terrorist activities have to be fight. Only then the Indian government will understand the sense of Khalistan movement. Which resulted, they just wanted to occupy the Golden Temple and tell the Indian government that we are very serious on Khalistan. So resulted, Jarnal Singh Bindrawal is a person who looked after this. He is a Sikh militant, and he just wanted to occupy the holiest temple of Sikhism, that is nothing but the Golden Temple. And over and occupying that, it is the holiest temple, so government has no option left. So government went with an operation called Operation Blue Star and finally killed the Sikh militant, and they captured back this temple. So who is he actually? Jarnal Singh Bindrawal. So he is an Indian militant and a prominent figure in the Khalistan movement. Though he never advocated a separate Sikh nation also, he never talked about in the public to have a separate Sikh state. but he was a great leader from the Sikh point of view, but from the Indian point of view, he is an Indian militant and Indian terrorist. So this movement was kept completely silent from that particular point of time, due to after that the Indian government used force to get into the Golden Temple, which resulted the Sikh community people and the Khalistan movement supporters and everyone has got so much of irritated with the Indian government, resulted the assassination of the Indira Gandhi, the then Prime Minister at that time. So later then the Congress people have too much attacks on the Punjabi people, and there are riots happened in Punjab, and resulted there are around 1,000 people who have left their lives. So this became very big issue at that in 1980s and 1970s. So even now the movement was kept completely calm and everything was going on a cool mode now, but some militant groups were arrested by police in Punjab recently in 2018. Some movements have been seen from 2018 onwards. The former CM Punjab Amarendra Singh also claimed that the recent extremism is happening just because of the Pakistan ISI and Khalistan sympathizers who are located in Canada, Italy and UK. And the only MP you can find in Indian Parliament, that is Simranjeet Singh Mann. Okay, he is from the Shiroman Akali Dal, Amritsar. So the only pro-Khalistani party and the only MP. Who is he actually? So he is a Punjabi politician, the son of ex-speaker Punjab, 1967 IPS batch officer, and he was dismissed for the conspiracy in assassination of Indira Gandhi, and he kept in jail for 5 years. Later he came out and he practiced as an advocate, and he became 3 times an MP, and he is a pro-Khalistan MP. The relation once again bitter just because after all these issues. So the supporters of Khalistan people tried to enter into the Golden Temple. So India attacked them and India neutralized them, and related to all this issue. So they just wanted to tell to the world India is not listening. So they just wanted to make noise to make the world to listen about this Khalistan movement. So some persons grouped and gathered in Canada, and they just wanted to create some kind of a noise to tell to the world that there is a Khalistan movement is existed. Resulted in 1982 there is an Air India flight which goes from Montreal to London, from there to Delhi, from there to Bombay. Again Bombay, it goes in the same route. So they exploded a bomb planted by some terrorist, and in this way 329 people died out of it, and in which 24 are Indians and 27 are Britishers. This is the deadliest attack in the aviation industry in India and Canada and in the world too. Until September 11, the deadliest attack on WTO. Okay, this is the second. After WTO attack, it became the second deadliest attack in the world. Before that, this is the first one. The Canadian Indian police have found out the reasons to bomb on this particular Air India flight 1982, and they came to know the reason is that as there is a deadly storming of Sikhism Golden Temple in Amritsar in 1984, due to which we have done this. That was the voice that has been given by the Sikh supporters. Resulted Canadian police arrested 3 persons, and out of that the main person is Indrajit Singh Rayat. This is the second issue, that the relation between Canada and India resulted to be in a better position. And the third one is Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Who is he? He's a third position which made the India relations with Canada are in a bitter state. So he is a Canadian person who involved in the Sikh Khalistan movement again. And Indian government called this person as a terrorist because he used to kill the Hindu priest in Punjab itself, which resulted Indian government declared him unlawful activities under Prevention Act and designated as a terrorist also. And there is a bounty also has been kept on his name, around 10 lakhs by NIA. So due to all these issues which are happening in India, he created a fake passport by name Ravi Sharma and got into Canada, and as a refugee. Who is a refugee? One country expelled him, and if he is going to stay in that particular country, obviously he is going to be behind the bars. So by creating all the other nuisance and everything, he just left India and he got into another country by having a status called refugee. So Canadian government thought to give Canadian government took this issue as a refugee itself, and he said our family, my family members properties and my properties are entirely confiscated by the Indian government, so we have been designated as terrorist itself. So So finally, the Canadian government has consulted with the Indian government and found out the results and everything. The Canadian government rejected him under this claim. So as a refugee, they haven't given any citizenship to this fellow. So once again, he understood if he has to go back India, he has to be behind the bars. Resulted, he married a woman in Canada itself, and to get the Canadian citizenship. But the woman, at a later years, she stated that this marriage is a marriage of convenience itself. Again, Canadian government cancelled the citizenship again. But this point of time, he joined into a Sikh temple over in British Columbia state in Canada. Over there, he became a president, and he is a plumber by nature, and he got two goods also, right? And this fellow, with the help of the Sikh fraternity in Canada, and finally he got a citizenship in Canada itself. He was very outspoken on Sikh extremism, and even Indian government approached the Interpol and released a red notice against Nijjar in 2014 and 16. And he was a mastermind for the Khalistan Tiger Force and suspected bomb blasts in India at the same time in Canada even. And he was being killed in front of the one Gurudwar in Toronto by the masked man. And now this made the Canadian people or the Canadian government stated that this is an action done by the Indian RA agent, but there is no evidence related to that, and Canadian government till now hasn't shown any evidence related to that. So now let's get into the present story. Until the Prime Minister Stephen Harper, who used to be there from 2006 to 2015, the Canadian government never supported this kind of support of radicalism. But Justin, being the contender of PM in 2014 and 15, he supported this radical Sikh movement, and even he used to support a lot this Khalisthan movement. And he inducted pro-Khalistan Harjeet Sajjan and Navdeep Bain into his cabinet also. This wasn't liked by the government of India at all, and the people in India too. So major break point which happened in April 2022. Ms. Trudeau attended Khalsa Day, so which is a parade organized by the radical Gurudwar in Toronto, and claimed Jarnail Singh, Amrik Singh and Shehbaz Singh, who killed in the siege of Golden Temple, as a heroes. That was not even liked by our Indian government, at the same time not to the people of the country even. And at the same time, there is a radical actions happened. Even this was came into the notice of Justin Trudeau, or no, we never come to know into picture. But 16 Canadian Gurudwars have announced a ban of entry of Indian elected officials and consulated officials and RSS and Shiv Sena members without any action from the Tredeau government. Even this was a news that has been given by the people of Khalistan people itself over in Canada. Still, the Canadian government did not take any action on this. The same way, Gurudwars in UK and US also did the same thing. When Indian government came to know about this issue, and they written this to the Justin Trudeau and asked an explanation for this, then the Canadian government cited a freedom of expression is a freedom of thing. So that has to be a fundamental rights. As being a country, we have to protect the fundamental rights of the people. It is up to them. They have given their voice. So what is the results of action this by the Indian government? Till now, the Trudeau has paid two visits to India. The first visit being 17th to 23rd February in 2018, and in the G20 summit now. So normally, whenever a Prime Minister or a President or a Chancellor of any country used to come to India, PM Modi used to tweet or issue a statement. But while Trudeau comes to India, he never did this. Normally, whoever comes down to India, obviously PM Modi used to break the protocol, and he used to go near to it and have a better relation and accompanying them and tweeting them. This is what normally we have seen in the heads when they are coming, Israel or USA, Oman or Japan. But when Trudeau paid down a visit to India, normally Prime Minister Modi used to take always to Gujarat and used to show the development around the Gujarat itself. But when Trudeau went to Gujarat also, the Gujarat CM did not even met him at the airport. Later she met at the hotel. Even Trudeau wanted to see the Taj Mahal, the seventh wonder of the world. So when he wanted to see the Taj Mahal also over there, the UP CM Yogi Adityanath didn't even met Trudeau. And he just sent one district collector of Agra to receive Trudeau when visited Taj Mahal. So just imagine, when Prime Minister Modi is going to another country, also if some district collector comes to receive him, obviously it irritates him. It created some kind of rupture between the two countries, isn't it? So that too, especially considering the term of Canada in terms of economy and reputation, it is actually a little bad thing itself. So again, from the point of India, Trudeau should not entertain all these radical forces. Trudeau also should not go for the vote bank politics. So point to be noted, India is not only the country in the world to have vote bank politics. All other countries do the same. So India wanted to send a message to Trudeau that we are not heed the activities of Khalistan and we are not ready to create any other state of Khalistan or to divide in India. That's what the message that wanted to send to India, for that India being rude to Trudeau. You can check it out in this image itself that in all cases Modi broke the protocol, but for Trudeau, the Dharmendra Pradhan, the agriculture minister, met him and took over itself. So what happened now? The Trudeau, after the G20, he has to leave immediately to his country called Canada. But by the time being, his flight has got some technical problem and it got delayed for almost 36 hours. Indian government has requested him that we can give you an Air Force One flight like what our Prime Minister is using, so you can go to the country, and after making him get down, we will come by our own flight. That's what the Indian government stated. But still, due to the security reasons, he rejected it and he waited for the second flight to come. Even the second flight came into picture, but still it has got some technical snag and finally lifted after 36 hours delay. In this 36 hours, no government of India person came to meet him. So due to all these issues happened to him in India, so Justin Trudeau to create again the vote bank politics, again to win in his own country. So he just entered into the House of Commons and stated this dialogue. Over the past number of weeks, Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing credible allegation of potential link between the agents of Government of India and killing of the Canadian citizen Hardeep Singh Nijjar. So then Indian government called the Indians in Canadians. You have to be safe because the tensions have raised between the two countries. Then Mark Miller, the Canadian immigration minister, stated Canada is a safe place, so there's no need to worry. And then the expulsion of a diplomat by each country. September 21st, even India suspended visa applications from Canada. Meanwhile, the PM of Canada, Justin Trudeau, used to get the support from USA, UK and other nations, but unfortunately it did not work for him. So resulted, the Canadian government has expelled the Indian diplomat. At the same time, India also expels the Canadian diplomat. So this is a baseless and false allegation by the Canadian government. So at the same time, the Indian government has also called the Canadian diplomat and held for 4 minutes meeting, and he just said, just get out of India with immediate effect, which resulted the Western world also did not take in this issue very seriously, resulted and said very clearly that USA, UK and Europe, Australia said, first of all, do your investigation and find out what is the relation between this case to the Indian government and then decide, and don't prove any baseless allegations. Resulted, now the Canadian Prime Minister said,
One of the things that is so important today is that India and the government of India takes seriously this matter. It is extremely serious and it has far-reaching consequences in international law and otherwise. For Canada, as I said yesterday, we're going to remain calm. We're going to remain grounded in our democratic principles and values. We're going to follow the evidence and make sure that the work is done.
So he stated very clearly that we are not looking to provoke India or escalate this issue. We're just laying the facts with the Indian government, and we are always friendly and we will be friendly, and we are leaving this issue at this point. So this is what happened between the India and Canada. The situation became normal now. Thank you.